They never tell you this growing up. They never sit you down and explain how the world actually works once you become a man. Instead, you are fed stories, romantic stories, fairy tales dressed up as advice. They tell you, be nice, be yourself, love will find you. If you're loyal, she'll be loyal. But nobody tells you what happens when fantasy collides with reality. Nobody warns you that modern dating is not about love first. It's about selection. And selection is not random. It is strategic, calculated, and often ruthless. This video is not about hating women. It is not about blaming women. And it is not about bitterness. This video is about survival, because the rules have changed, and men who refuse to adapt are the ones paying the price. Modern women are not waiting to be chosen. They are choosing, and they are choosing from options. More options than any generation in human history. One swipe, one message, one night. Attention is no longer rare. Validation is no longer earned. And access is no longer delayed. And yet, most men are still operating with old rules in a new game. That is the real danger. The fantasy that destroys men. The biggest lie men are taught is this: if I give enough, she will stay. So men give time. They give money. They give emotional labor. They give loyalty before commitment. They give protection without boundaries. They overinvest before value is confirmed. And when things fall apart, they are shocked, confused, angry. How did this happen? I did everything right. No, you did everything naively. Modern dating does not reward innocence. It punishes it. Why strategy replaced romance? In the past, survival required partnership. Community mattered. Reputation mattered. Family mattered. Now, a woman can survive completely independent of a man. That is not an insult. That is a fact. And when survival is guaranteed, choice becomes selective. Modern dating rewards status, confidence, emotional control, social proof, financial stability, scarcity, not effort, not sacrifice, not suffering in silence. Men who lead with fantasy believe love is earned through endurance. But attraction is not a reward system. It is a filter system. Selection is not about good men. This is where most men misunderstand everything. They believe women choose based on morality. They don't. They choose based on perceived value. That value can be social dominance, ambition, strength, emotional independence, direction, boundaries. A man without direction is not nice. He is invisible. A man without boundaries is not loving. He is unsafe. A man without strategy is not pure. He is prey. The hunter dynamic, the part nobody talks about. Let's say it clearly, without fear, without apology. In modern dating, women hunt opportunities, not men. Opportunities for emotional security, lifestyle upgrades, status alignment, financial safety, genetic potential. This does not make them evil. It makes them adaptive. Nature does not reward fairness. It rewards effectiveness. And men who refuse to see this reality keep losing the same game over and over again. Why men are chosen and why they're replaced. Here's the brutal truth. Men are not chosen for who they are. They are chosen for what they represent at that moment. When a man stops growing, when his confidence weakens, when his ambition fades, when his emotional control collapses, his value drops. And when value drops in a marketplace full of options, replacement becomes easy. This is why strategy matters. The cost of ignoring reality. Men who reject this truth often say, I don't want to play games. I just want something real. But reality doesn't disappear because you refuse to acknowledge it. Ignoring red flags doesn't make you noble. It makes you vulnerable. Overinvesting doesn't make you romantic. It makes you disposable. Leading with emotion in a strategic environment is not courage. It's self-destruction. Why men lose before the relationship even starts. Men lose because they reveal weakness too early, offer commitment without leverage, spend money to compensate for confidence, attach emotionally without reciprocity, ignore behavior, and listen only to words. They confuse attention with interest. They confuse chemistry with compatibility. They confuse hope with evidence. And then they are shocked when the ending is painful. The survival shift men must make. This is the shift. Stop asking, how do I make her choose me? Start asking, does she qualify for my life? Scarcity creates value. Boundaries create respect. Direction creates attraction. Men who survive modern dating do not chase. They build. They do not plead. They select. They do not over-explain. They observe. Why strategy is not cruel. It's necessary. Strategy is not manipulation. It is self-defense. A man without strategy is exposed emotionally, financially, and legally. Love without structure becomes chaos. Desire without discipline becomes destruction. Modern men must understand the terrain they are walking on, because the world does not protect men who operate on hope alone. The foundation before everything else, before love, before marriage, before fatherhood, before commitment. A man must first have identity, purpose, financial direction, emotional control, non-negotiable boundaries. Without these, love becomes a liability. With these, love becomes a choice, not a trap. By the time most men realize what went wrong, it's already too late. The relationship is over. The money is gone. The peace is destroyed. And the damage is permanent. And the most painful part, no one warned them. Not their father, not their friends, not society. Because telling men the truth has become uncomfortable. So instead, men are handed silence and consequences. The hidden financial war nobody talks about. Love is emotional. Marriage is legal. Divorce is financial warfare. And most men walk into it blind. They believe commitment protects them. It doesn't. The system does not reward sacrifice. It rewards documentation, leverage, and legal positioning. A man can be loyal for 20 years and still lose half of everything he built. A man can work himself into exhaustion and still be treated as disposable once his usefulness declines. This is not bitterness. This is arithmetic. Marriage is not a romance. It's a contract. Here is what men are never taught. Marriage is not proof of love. It is a state-enforced agreement with predefined penalties. The moment a man signs that contract, he exposes his income, his future earnings, his assets, his time, his freedom, and once children are involved, leverage multiplies. Love does not protect you from the law. Feelings do not override the system. Intentions do not matter in court. Only outcomes do. Fatherhood as leverage. Fatherhood is sacred. But in modern systems, it can be weaponized. A man can love his children deeply and still be reduced to a visitor in their lives. Custody battles are not about fairness. They are about control. Child support is not about care alone. It is about enforcement. A man's paycheck becomes monitored. His movement becomes restricted. His future becomes conditional. And yet men are told, just trust, just believe, just do the right thing. Trust without protection is vulnerability. Why men ignore red flags. Men don't ignore red flags because they're stupid. They ignore them because they're hopeful. Hope is dangerous in a strategic environment. Men see warning signs and say, "She'll change. It's just stress. She didn't mean it." But patterns matter more than promises. Disrespect does not disappear. Entitlement does not soften. Lack of accountability does not improve. Red flags are not obstacles. They are exit signs, and men who ignore them pay later, with interest. Overinvestment is the silent killer. One of the most destructive habits men have is overinvestment. They give more than they should, earlier than they should, without proof of reciprocity. They pour resources into someone who hasn't earned access. Time, money, emotional exposure, commitment. This creates imbalance, and imbalance destroys respect. Attraction does not grow from desperation. It grows from stability and self-control. A man who gives everything has nothing left to negotiate with. Why vulnerability without strength is fatal. Men are told to open up, but nobody explains the context. Vulnerability without strength is not bonding. It's burden. A man who collapses emotionally without foundation becomes a liability. Strength must come first. Structure must come first. Direction must come first. Only then does vulnerability build connection. Without it, vulnerability becomes another reason to lose respect. The power of boundaries. This is where men win. Boundaries are not cruelty. They are clarity. A man with boundaries knows what he tolerates, what he refuses, what he walks away from. He does not negotiate his self-respect. He does not explain his standards endlessly. He does not chase validation. Boundaries filter people automatically. Those who respect them stay. Those who don't remove themselves. This is power. Financial boundaries save lives. Never combine finances without legal clarity. Never rescue someone who refuses accountability. Never sacrifice your future for temporary peace. Money amplifies character. It doesn't change it. A man who loses financial control loses leverage. And leverage is survival. Emotional boundaries create stability. A man does not react. He responds. He does not argue feelings. He observes behavior. He does not chase affection. He allows attraction to reveal itself. Emotional control is not suppression. It is mastery. Personal boundaries define identity. A man without boundaries lives to please. A man with boundaries lives with purpose. Purpose creates direction. Direction creates confidence. Confidence creates attraction. This is not arrogance. It is alignment. Why self-development is the ultimate protection. Here is the truth no one can take from you. A man who continuously improves becomes hard to replace. Physically, mentally, financially, emotionally, self-development is not selfish. It is insurance. A strong body resists stress. A trained mind sees patterns. Financial independence creates options. Emotional discipline prevents self-destruction. When a man develops himself, he does not fear abandonment because he knows he can rebuild. The men who survive this era, they are not angry. They are awake. They do not hate women. They understand dynamics. They do not chase love blindly. They select carefully. They do not collapse when relationships end. They continue forward. They are calm. They are prepared. They are disciplined. And because of that, they are dangerous to underestimate. Final reality check. Modern dating is not evil. It is competitive. And competition requires awareness. Men who adapt do not lose their humanity. They protect it. They do not become cold. They become clear. This is not a call to withdraw from love. It is a call to enter it intelligently. Because love without awareness is a gamble. And men who gamble blindly often lose everything.